Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very weather-focused lesson. It's all about all the horrible things that can happen to you with the weather.
Exactly. So as you know, there are many different types of weather, and not only rain or sunshine, but many other phenomena. So we're going to take a look at some of those. But before we go into it, let's take a look at one word on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
Okay, so we're talking about extreme weather today. That's not rain or drizzle or sunshine. We're talking about really interesting, unique, and sometimes devastating things that can happen. So today's vocabulary word is Armageddon.
All right, so Armageddon. Now, you've probably seen the movie Armageddon. So what does this word mean?
Okay, so this word is a reference to the end of the world. It means the time when the world will end because of a great catastrophe or a great disaster.
Okay, so everyone talks about Armageddon. It's mentioned in the Bible. And as you say, it's when the world stops existing.
Exactly. So think about that one as we listen to today's dialogue. We will be back in a minute to talk about what's going on.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
All right, we're back. And, well, this weather report is not really far from the truth. I mean, this kind of stuff happens every day all over the world, right?
That's correct. And unfortunately, it's been happening very frequently in the past couple months. We've heard of a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. So this is very valuable stuff when you're trying to talk about current events as well.
Okay. So why don't we start now analyzing a couple of different words and phrases on language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Well, the first vocabulary item we have here is meteorological event. It's a real mouthful. It's a long word.
Meteorological.
So, for example, meteorological means having to do with the weather, something that's related to the weather. So, a meteorological event could be rain, snow.
Okay, so it has to do with meteorology.
Meteorology is the study of the weather, and someone who does this is a meteorologist.
So usually the weathermen that you see on TV, they're meteorologists.
So let's go now to Marco, our resident meteorologist.
There we go.
Our resident meteorologist.
Right, okay. So meteorological events. Now moving on, one of the first events that we're going to look at is an avalanche.
Avalanche. An avalanche has to do with snow. This means that when a mountain that has a lot of snow on it, maybe part of that snow breaks off and starts to roll down, you have a wall of snow that comes down. That's an avalanche.
That's an avalanche.
So you could say, avalanche. Right. And the snow comes down. And it's actually very dangerous because people can get buried under the snow.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so another event that has to do with snow is a blizzard.
Okay, a blizzard is different from an avalanche because an avalanche, maybe it's not snowing, the snow just falls. But in a blizzard, you're talking about a storm of snow.
But it's like a lot of snow coming down from the sky.
So much snow that you probably can't see anything. There's just white everywhere.
Okay. All right, so that's a blizzard. A lot of snow coming down from the sky. Now, moving on, the opposite of snow and things being wet is we have a drought.
Yeah, this is the opposite of wet, actually. So there's no rain in a drought. A drought means that things are very dry. The land is very dry.
Okay, so it's a period of time that there's no snow, there's no water, there's no rain, there's nothing. It's very, very dry. We're going through a drought.
Correct. And the problem with a drought is very dangerous is because people cannot grow food in a drought. And so lots of people starve when this happens.
Okay, so you got to watch out for a drought. Now, in this case, it not only affected farming, but also we have a hydroelectric power plant that can't work, obviously, because there's no water.
So hydro means water. Hydroelectric means electricity that is generated by flowing water. And so, for example, a mill, something that churns water on a river, is a way to get power from water. But
Right.
a hydroelectric project that can give you electricity is maybe like a dam or an electric mill.
Right. So usually you have these on rivers and they just take advantage of the flowing of water to turn some huge turbines and generate power. So that's all we have for now. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again? And we'll be back shortly to take a look at some more words.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
Well, a word that many people are unfortunately familiar with is Richter or Richter scale. And now this is something that a lot of people are talking about right now because of the earthquake in Sichuan, China last year, and the earthquake in Haiti very recently. And so the Richter scale, that's a big R because it's a proper name, is a way for us to determine how severe, how big the earthquake was.
Right, so people talk about a 6.0, a 7.1, so that's on the Richter scale.
The lowest is 0 and the highest is 10, correct?
Right, but 10 is like impossible, apparently.
Apparently, and a lot of them are actually underwater, but the very serious ones are maybe 8.0, 7.0.
All right, so Richter scale. Now, we talked about earthquakes, we talked about snowing. Now, let's talk about a volcano. A volcano in Mexico has erupted.
Okay, so we've got two words here, volcano. A volcano is a mountain that has an opening in the center where lava from the middle of the earth, the center of the earth, can come out. So it's very dangerous, obviously, because it's very hot.
Right.
But a volcano doesn't open, it erupts. So the verb here that we use with a volcano is to erupt.
Okay, so it doesn't explode, a volcano erupts.
That means to open violently, very quickly.
Okay, so when this happens, obviously you have a lot of lava, you have maybe snow that melts, and you have floods and landslides.
Okay, landslides. A landslide is one word, but it's made up of two words that you probably already know. So land, obviously, it's the ground and
the
things
earth.
like that, the earth. But a slide is to move down across the ground. And so a landslide happens when you've got something like lava or water that's pushing all of the earth, all of the ground down, and it's destroying houses and trees and land, and it's very, very destructive.
Right. So you usually see this that happens on the side of mountains or on the side of hills where all that land starts to slide down or to go down. And it's very similar to an avalanche, right? But instead of snow falling down, it's land.
Mud and land.
Mud, yeah. All right. So we have a landslide. And because of all the eruptions and the earthquakes, they said that they have a lot of seismic activity.
This word seismic is something that I've heard a lot recently in movies like 2012.
Yeah.
So seismic means having to do with the movement of the plates under the Earth's crust. So, you know, the Earth is not everything that we see. It's also activity, things happening underneath the ground.
Right.
And so underneath the ground, we have these big plates, and seismic activity is what happens when these kind of things start to move. Activity is movement. And so seismic activity refers to earthquakes and volcanoes, things that are changing under the ground that will affect us.
Okay. So that's seismic activity. It's pronounced seismic, right?
Seismic, that's
Seismic.
correct.
Okay. And because of all this activity, people say that they may have a tsunami.
Well, this doesn't sound very English, does it?
I know, tsunami. And actually, if you see the spelling, it's with a T, T-S.
Right, I think it's a Japanese word, but I'm not
I
positive.
think so too.
Tsunami is the name that we give to a giant tidal wave. So that's a wave of water in the ocean that's very, very dangerous because it can get to 100, 200 feet tall. And this means that when it comes down, it can destroy houses, cities, cars, things like that.
Right.
And there was a very, very famous tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and in Indonesia, right?
That's right, in Indonesia and Thailand and Vietnam.
Yeah, it was intense. It was big. And it was also because of an earthquake, right?
I think so. All these earthquakes, they move the earth around, and then all of a sudden the reaction is that there's water that moves,
This
and the water
huge wave.
then turns into a wave.
Yeah, just imagine what happens if you have a bucket of water and then you start moving the bucket just a little bit and you see how water starts to splat all over the place.
That's right.
All right, so tsunami was our last word for today. Why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back shortly.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
So, Marco, these are all pretty terrifying. Have you ever experienced a meteorological event like one of the ones that we talked about today?
I've actually lived it through like 3 earthquakes, like pretty big ones.
Well, that's because you used to live in Los
in
Angeles.
LA. Yeah. So we get them all the time in LA. Apart from that, I've seen a volcano erupt a couple of times because, you know, Ecuador is part of the volcano alley, right? Mm-hmm. It's all the Andes mountains, and it's part of the circle of fire, what they call. So we have a couple of different active volcanoes, and from time to time they will start to smoke or to spew some lava, but nothing major. Like, there hasn't been a major catastrophe with the volcanoes. hopefully it won't either.
Well, and these days they have a lot of equipment, seismic equipment and meteorological equipment that can help meteorologists to determine when things will happen, like when a volcano will erupt or if there will be an earthquake, because they can study the tremors in the ground.
Right. Yeah, and I think probably the most famous volcano is, I think it was in Italy, right? Mount Vesuvius.
That's right. So you've got Mount Vesuvius in Naples, which famously destroyed a number of cities in this ancient civilization and ancient
What is a major
Roman times.
eruption?
It was, and what's amazing is that they still have a lot of the buildings
Underground,
under
right?
the ash.
Wow.
Because when all the ash settled, it preserved the bodies like a mummy.
That's
and so you
crazy.
can see the bodies and the things that they, their jewelry and their money, and it's fascinating because it's this horrible, horrible natural disaster actually helped us in the future learn about this old civilization.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, in Ecuador, you can see a huge hole that has like a lake in the middle, and you're like, oh wow, that's beautiful. But that's actually caused because the entire mountain just kind of blew the top off, like the cone, because of this major eruption. So you can just imagine how
Wow.
powerful these eruptions are. I can just imagine what it would have been like Mount Vesuvius. But anyway, on a brighter note, if you have any questions, any comments, or any stories of your own, maybe you've lived through a typhoon, a hurricane, a tornado, you can come to our website, englishpod.com.
We hope to see you there.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Great snow. Blizzard. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami. Something tech relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity.
Let's try that faster.
A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. Something tech relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity. Great snow. Blizzard. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Blizzard.
With the blizzard came strong gusts of wind, freezing temperatures, and near zero visibility because of all the blowing snow.
Blizzard.
The blizzard warning will remain in effect until tomorrow morning, when the winds will die down to about 30 kilometers per hour.
Blizzard.
If you really need to venture out into that blizzard with your car, you are going to have to go at a crawl because of the near whiteout conditions and the danger of drifting.
Drought.
The lack of rain in the spring and the above average temperatures caused a drought in the late summer.
Drought.
We have to start conserving water because of the drought.
Drought.
For about half a decade in the 1930s, The prairies in Canada and the United States experienced a severe drought, during which there were numerous dust storms, and the land became a wasteland.
Hurricane.
Several mudslides occurred in this region shortly after the hurricane passed through.
Hurricane.
North Atlantic hurricanes are formed off the tip of Africa, build as they travel across the Atlantic Ocean, and then finally hit the Caribbean and the southern United States at full force.
Hurricane.
The weather became very calm all of a sudden, and we knew that the eye of the hurricane was passing over us.
Seismic activity.
He measured the earthquakes using a seismograph and noticed the increase in seismic activity.
Seismic activity.
Seismic activity can cause new land masses to form and the destruction of others.
Seismic activity.
The seismic activity caused earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and multiple tsunamis.
Tsunami.
When there is a massive earthquake on the ocean floor, a lot of water is displaced, forming a tsunami as this water travels towards land.
Tsunami.
The Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004 was caused by one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded.
Tsunami.
She looked out over the land, still flooded in areas by water left by the tsunami that had ravaged her home just days before.
Hello everyone and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today Marco and I have an elementary level lesson for you.
That's right. It's a new year, and so we have a lesson for you where we are going to make new decisions and have a new opportunity in the new year, right?
That's right. So the new year is the time to change parts of your life, maybe. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's listen to this dialogue 3 times, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the words and phrases in the dialogue.
Now that it's the new year, I've decided to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah? You finally decided to wipe the slate clean?
You got it. I have a new job. I'm living in a new city with new friends. This is my opportunity to make some small changes in the way I live my life.
So what are you going to do? Take up an art class or something?
Well, first of all, I've decided to stop smoking. It's not that I'm pinching pennies or anything, it's just that I've been smoking since I was 16, and I think it's time to stop.
I'm with you on that one. Anything else you're planning on doing?
One last thing. I've decided to come out of the closet.
It's about time.
All right, we're back. And so if you notice, the dialogue has actually a lot of really, really rich phrases in there. So today we're going to change the format a little bit, and we're going to do Fluency Builder in 2 different sections. So starting out with the first one on Fluency Builder Part 1.
Fluency Builder.
So the new year, we think about new things, changing things. We have a great phrase in English to describe starting fresh, starting anew. And we say, turn over a new leaf.
Okay, so you turn over a new leaf. So that means that you are going to maybe make a radical change, right? Some completely new.
That's right. So if you think about it, it's a new chapter in your life or a new adventure or something like that. Maybe you're going to quit your job, turn over a new leaf, start a new job.
Okay. So you can say, I'm going to turn over a new leaf, or Sarah turned over a new leaf and quit smoking.
Let's turn over a new leaf and forget the past.
There we go. All right, so to turn over a new leaf. So just imagine that you have a leaf on the ground and you turn it over and it's nice and clean. All right, and talking about cleanliness, our second phrase is to wipe the slate clean.
Okay, when I think about this phrase, I think about a chalkboard, okay? So a slate is like a chalkboard, and all of the things that you've done, good and bad, are on that chalkboard. And to wipe the slate clean means to erase those words, erase those things. So perhaps Marco and I fight all the time, and we're angry at each other. Finally, I say, listen, Marco, let's wipe the slate clean. Let's forget the past. Let's forget the things we said and start again.
And start a new leaf. To wipe the slate clean is to just start over. You know, just to erase everything. Let's forget about it and start over.
Exactly.
All right, and so we're starting over, and his friend is asking, you decided to wipe the slate clean, and the friend said, you got it. You got what?
What? It.
What is it?
In English, we love the word it.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, you got it means you're right, exactly. You understand what I'm talking about.
Okay, so if you agree with me or I understand what you're talking about, you would say, you got it.
You got it.
You got it.
All right, so I'm trying to explain to you, maybe, Marco, something very difficult, like, if you add 4 and 10, you get 14, but what if you add 10 more?
It's 24.
You got it.
All right.
Okay, so he understands math.
Yes. Okay, so that's the way you would use you got it. It's a really popular phrase. I mean, you can use it on pretty much anything, not only if you're right, but also if somebody agrees with it or you promise something, right? So, are you going to pick me up today? Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
no problem.
So it's a way to agree or to show that you're saying yes.
Yes. Okay, so why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll come back shortly to look at Fluency Builder Part 2.
Now that it's the new year, I've decided to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah? You finally decided to wipe the slate clean?
You got it. I have a new job, I'm living in a new city with new friends. This is my opportunity to make some small changes in the way I live my life.
So what are you going to do? Take up an art class or something?
Well, first of all, I've decided to stop smoking. It's not that I'm pinching pennies or anything, it's just that I've been smoking since I was 16, and I think it's time to stop.
I'm with you on that one. Anything else you're planning on doing?
One last thing. I've decided to come out of the closet.
It's about time.
All right, we're back, so now let's continue with our Fluency Builder. And, they kept talking, and the guy mentioned that he's going to stop smoking. But it's not because he is pinching pennies.
Oh, pinching. That sounds painful.
Right.
Okay, pinching is something you do, especially when you're a child. You squeeze the skin. Pinch, and
right.
It hurts. So to pinch really is to hold something with 2 fingers. To pinch pennies means to try to spend very, very, very little money. Okay?
Right.
So if we say, if I say, hey, Marco, you want to go to dinner tonight? There's this really nice Italian place. It's a little expensive, but...
Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm really pinching pennies these days because I'm kind of broke.
So maybe we'll go somewhere cheaper.
Yeah. So actually, pennies are 1 cent. 1 cent coins, right? They're called pennies in the United States.
That's right. And it's the smallest kind of money that we have in America. So if you're pinching pennies, if you're saving pennies, it means you really don't have much money.
Right,
so
you're really, really saving.
That's right.
Okay, so pinching pennies. So he decided to quit smoking, and his friend agreed with him and said, you know what? I'm with you on that one.
Okay, so you quit smoking, Marco, and I quit smoking. I'm with you on that. I think it's a good idea. If I'm with you on that one, it means I agree with you. You're doing the right thing.
So you can say, I'm with you on that one, or you can just say, you know what, I'm with you. Do it.
I'm with you.
I'm with you, I agree, or I'm with you, I support your decision.
So you are going to go skydiving in a couple weeks. That means you're
Right.
going to jump out of an airplane. I'm not with you on that one.
You don't support my decision.
I think it's okay for you, but I would not want to do it personally.
All right. Right. So you can do it in that way or just anything. You support somebody's decision. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
Exactly.
All right. And our last phrase, to come out of the closet.
So who's in the closet?
Why is somebody hiding in the closet?
Okay, someone's not really hiding in the closet. This is a phrase we use to describe someone who is gay or lesbian, who has a secret about being a gay or lesbian. So when they come out of the closet, they're telling their friends and family for the first time that this is how they feel.
So it's basically a phrase that's kind of a metaphor to say, you know what, I'm going to tell everyone that I am gay or lesbian, right?
That's right. Well, it's because in English, oftentimes a closet is a place where we keep secrets. Okay, and so to come out of the closet means to share your secrets with people.
So sometimes in English you say, you have skeletons in the closet.
That's right. This is a little different. Maybe I killed someone and it's a skeleton in my closet. It's a secret that I keep.
But a skeleton in your closet can also be a very big secret, like you were once married and you never told anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
Or I have 2 kids and I never told you guys.
Right. So those were the skeletons in the closet. But in this case, it's to come out of the closet. And that's always related to telling somebody for the first time that you are gay or lesbian.
That's right. And we don't say it about being straight, which is the opposite, which
Right.
is men who love women and women who love men.
Right.
You don't say it about coming out of the closet there. You say it about being gay or lesbian.
Okay. So very interesting. And so I think we should listen to this dialogue for the last time. And we'll be back to talk a little bit more.
Now that it's the new year, I've decided to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah? You finally decided to wipe the slate clean?
You got it. I have a new job, I'm living in a new city with new friends. This is my opportunity to make some small changes in the way I live my life.
So what are you going to do? Take up an art class or something?
Well, first of all, I've decided to stop smoking. It's not that I'm pinching pennies or anything, it's just that I've been smoking since I was 16, and I think it's time to stop.
I'm with you on that one. Anything else you're planning on doing?
One last thing. I've decided to come out of the closet.
It's about time.
All right, we're back. So this is very interesting, and these phrases are so common because if you have a fight with somebody, you say, you know what, let's just wipe the slate clean and start all over again, or let's turn over a new leaf, let's stop fighting. And especially in New Year's, right? Everyone makes a promise to start fresh.
That's right. Well, the new year, you can use a new calendar. You can take a fresh perspective on your life. It's refreshing. And I think it's good that we do this. We evaluate the things that make us happy and we evaluate the things that make us unhappy. And part of that means turning over a new leaf. Part of it also means apologizing to people.
Right.
Or trying to make the relationships in your life healthier. And I think it's very healthy that the person in this dialogue says, listen, I'm finally going to come out of the closet. I'm going to be honest with my friends and family.
And that's really interesting because, as we said, to come out of the closet is a phrase used in English and mostly related only in this context. So you might see it in TV shows or in a movie. And but it's an interesting topic, still debatable all over the world about, gay marriages and things like that.
That's right. So we're curious about your New Year's resolutions. Are you going to be wiping any slates clean? Are you going to be doing anything differently this year? Let us know on our website, englishpod.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Start anew. Turn over a new leaf. Start over. Wipe the slate clean. Chance. Opportunity. Start. Adopt the study. Take up. To be thrifty. Pinch pennies. Support you. With you. To state openly or publicly one's homosexuality. Come out of the closet.
Let's try that faster.
To be thrifty. Pinch pennies. Chance. Opportunity. Start. Adopt the study. Take up. To state openly or publicly one's homosexuality. Come out of the closet. Start over. Wipe the slate clean. Start anew. Turn over a new leaf. Support you. With you.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Turn over a new leaf. The dragon decided to turn over a new leaf by opening a new bar and grill restaurant instead of burning and eating humans. Turn over a new leaf. My sister has really turned over a new leaf since the last time I saw her. She doesn't get angry easily anymore and is more thoughtful. Turn over a new leaf. English Pod decided to turn over a new leaf and offer learning English in Chinese to its users. Wipe the slate clean. I was unhappy with the way I was living, so I decided to wipe the slate clean and start again. Wipe the slate clean. By wiping the slate clean, he was able to forget the troubles of his past and go on with living his life. Wipe the slate clean. She hoped that by starting this new business, she could wipe the slate clean and be accepted back into the community. Opportunity. Now that I've graduated, this is my opportunity to make a difference in the world. Opportunity. When it was his turn to sing karaoke, he jumped at the opportunity to show his friends how good he was. Opportunity. When they were finally alone on the beach, watching the sunset, he took the opportunity to tell her that he loved her. Take up. I decided I wasn't good at the piano, so I took up guitar instead. Take up. Are you going to take up dancing this year? Or are you going to stick to gymnastics? Take up. I am going to take up learning Chinese as my New Year's resolution. With you. You think he was guilty? I'm with you on that one. With you. Were with you to the death. With you. I'm with you when you say that life's not fair, but I don't agree that we should just sit around and feel sorry for ourselves when life gets tough.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine, and today we're talking about something we talk about every year.
Every year after Christmas, or well, during the Christmas holidays, we talk about New Year's Day, and a very important topic, New Year's resolutions.
All right, so we're not going to preview anything today. It's all in the dialogue. But when we come back, we'll be talking more about what you hear and some of the great phrases you can use at the new year.
Did you read this? It says that the number one New Year resolution people make is to spend more time with friends and family.
Why would that be funny?
Well, think about it. We are a society that is always on the go. Not because we have to, but because we want to.
Why?
We work hard and spend less time at home because we are trying to provide for our family with goods and services that are usually unnecessary.
I don't agree, but anyways, I think you should start thinking of a New Year's resolution yourself.
What's the point? We always make New Year's resolutions, and by February, we will have forgotten about them. It's pointless.
Well, maybe then you should resolve to sticking to your goals and objectives.
What about you? Your gym bag is gathering dust, and you still have brand new running shoes that are yet to be jogged in.
Well, I would go if you kept your promise of going to the gym with me every day.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, great. We're back. So this is very typical, a New Year's resolution that you make, but then people don't really stick to it, etc.
They don't?
Usually they don't. All right, but you're probably wondering what is a New Year's resolution. So why don't we take a look at this word and many more on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so New Year's resolution, let's break this phrase down. The first phrase is New Year's. So the New Year is January 1st in the West, and it is celebrated on the 31st of December at night when the clock changes to the New Year. And a New Year's resolution, remember that S there, is something that you want to do or to change in the new year. It's a fresh start.
Okay, so you pretty much, the verb that you use there is to resolve to do something. So my New Year's resolution is to, go to the gym every day.
It's like a promise to yourself.
Right. So, and this is very common, right, among Americans. They try and, because it's a new year, it's a fresh start, so they want to start doing something great.
Exactly. We can talk about this at the end, but a lot of companies try to use this to sell Americans stupid things. So we'll get there in a minute. But the two people in this dialogue are talking about the idea of spending more time with friends and family. And the other person says, well, sometimes it's hard to do that because you have to provide your family with goods and services.
All right.
So this phrase goods and services is very common, especially in economics and sociology. So what does this mean?
And they go together, right? So goods are tangible items, things that you buy, like food or, clothes, a TV, etc. Stuff. And services, of course, are other things like, for example, going to the doctor or the dentist or any other service you get.
So service usually includes another person doing something for you. But you might not actually get something physical like a TV if you pay for it. So goods and services, it's included in this phrase, always goods and services.
Very good. And well, moving on, as we mentioned with the New Year's resolution, we had that verb there, to resolve. So what does it mean if I want to resolve?
Okay, well, to resolve, as we said, is to decide or to promise yourself to do something. So it's a decision that you don't want to change your mind about. For example, this year, I've resolved to quit smoking. That means I've made a decision for myself and I'm going to do it.
Okay, very good.
It's very strong.
And not to be confused with to solve, right? It has no real relation there, right?
No, resolve to do something is to have a strong passion or interest in doing something for yourself or changing an action.
Very good. And well, our last word for language takeaway is brand new. A brand new. Something that's brand new.
Brand new. So buy a brand new car. Come down to Captain's Car Lot. So brand new is something we hear a lot in marketing. It's also something that these words just go together very often. And something is new, okay, you just bought it or it just came out. But something that's brand new is really fresh, really new.
So brand new, a brand new car, a brand new watch, etc. A brand new movie.
A brand new movie or brand new cereal. Have you ever tried it?
Very good. So great phrases there. Very good. So great words there. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again? And we'll be back with 3 phrases.
Did you read this? It says that the number one New Year resolution people make is to spend more time with friends and family.
Why would that be funny?
Well, think about it. We are a society that is always on the go. Not because we have to, but because we want to.
Why?
We work hard and spend less time at home because we are trying to provide for our family with goods and services that are usually unnecessary.
I don't agree, but anyways, I think you should start thinking of a New Year's resolution yourself.
What's the point? We always make New Year's resolutions, and by February, we will have forgotten about them. It's pointless.
Well, maybe then you should resolve to sticking to your goals and objectives.
What about you? Your gym bag is gathering dust, and you still have brand new running shoes that are yet to be jogged in.
Well, I would go if you kept your promise of going to the gym with me every day.
Yeah, whatever. All right, we're back. So now let's take a look at these 3 phrases on Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
Okay, this first phrase is very common at gas stations and food, like fast food chains. We say on the go.
All right. So he mentioned that we are a society that is always on the go. It means we're always moving.
Exactly. So you're always going to work, going home from work, going to the store, going to the school to get the kids, always moving. So that kind of action, that kind of life is on the go.
Okay.
You can also say eat on the go. That means I eat while I'm going somewhere, while I'm doing something. I don't sit down.
Okay. So on the go. And well, talking about New Year's resolution, and we said that, well, many people resolve to do something, but they don't really do it. And we have a phrase that is used here, to stick to something. Stick to your resolution.
To stick to it. So you think of tape or glue, these things that help things stick together. Okay, so in that sense, it's kind of, it's a way for you to describe continuing to do something or not stopping, not quitting, not ending it. And so I could say, remember how I said I wanted to quit smoking? Well, I'm really going to stick to this resolution because I think it's important. That means I'm not going to give up.
Right, very good. So you're going to stay with it. You're not going to give up. All right. So stick to something, like, for example, our English learners, they'll stick to learning English.
And we could say as words of encouragement, hey, stick to it.
Stick to it. Don't give up.
Keep with it. Don't give up.
All right. And, well, finally, they were more arguing about the gym membership and everything. And he mentioned that the gym bag is gathering dust.
All right, this is a very nice phrase, I think, because it's very visual. I like phrases where you can see what's happening. So gathering means collecting. That means that the dust in the air, it's building on this bag. And something is gathering dust if we don't use it.
So we haven't gone to the gym because our bag is in the corner and it's just filled with dust.
Exactly. We could also say this about the computer. Why should I buy you a new computer, Marco, if you never use the old one? That's just sitting in the house gathering dust.
Very good. Okay. So it's another way of saying you never use it, you never do it, etc.
Exactly.
It's for an object, though. You can't say you are gathering dust, right?
No, well, that'd be a little weird. You might be dead or...
All right. Great phrases. So why don't we listen to this dialogue one last time?
Did you read this? It says that the number 1 New Year resolution people make is to spend more time with friends and family.
Why would that be funny?
Well, think about it. We are a society that is always on the go. Not because we have to, but because we want to.
Why?
We work hard and spend less time at home because we are trying to provide for our family with goods and services that are usually unnecessary.
I don't agree, but anyways, I think you should start thinking of a New Year's resolution yourself.
What's the point? We always make New Year's resolutions, and by February, we will have forgotten about them. It's pointless.
Well, maybe then you should resolve to sticking to your goals and objectives.
What about you? Your gym bag is gathering dust, and you still have brand new running shoes that are yet to be jogged in.
Well, I would go if you kept your promise of going to the gym with me every day.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, we're back. And well, as you mentioned, there were some interesting things about this dialogue, especially when they talked about a society that's always on the go. And you mentioned that, well, sometimes you eat on the go. And I've seen people in the United States that are actually eating while driving.
I'm guilty of doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
You have no time to actually sit down for like 15 minutes and eat.
No, I remember being in high school at home and, you just have so much stuff to do. You have school, then after school there's soccer practice. After that there's music lessons, and you never have time to eat, so you have to grab food in the car, and then on the way home you're picking things up, and you get home and you do your homework or whatever. There's so much stuff to do, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop when you grow up. It doesn't stop if you're an older person. It's the way life is in America.
Wow, yeah, that's really interesting, because I think many of our listeners that are in other countries would find that a little bit peculiar if they actually went to the United States and saw somebody in their car, like having a hamburger while driving, and sipping on their soda.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, actually.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have much time. But actually, this is based on true events, kind of, on the fact that many Americans do want to spend more time at home with their friends, with their family, because, as you say, you're always so busy.
And I think it's a nice resolution to resolve to have dinner with your family once or twice a week at home, where you sit down and you talk about your lives. It's nice because you get to share and you get to know each other better. And, otherwise you're always just on the go in different places.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to hear your comments and your opinions about this topic. So why don't you visit our website, englishpod.com, and we'll see you guys there.
Don't forget to share with us your New Year's resolutions. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to hear those.
All right.
But until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
New Year's decision or plan. New Year's resolution. Very busy and active. On the go. Idea you try to make people understand. Point. Bring to an end. Resolve. Completely new. Brand new.
Let's try that faster.
Completely new. Brand new. Very busy and active. On the go. Bring to an end. Resolve. Idea you try to make people understand. Point. New Year's decision or plan. New Year's resolution.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
New Year's resolution. My family always made separate New Year's resolutions, but this year we decided to make one resolution for the entire family. New Year's resolution. His New Year's resolution is to finish a marathon. New Year's resolution. A popular New Year's resolution is to go to the gym and eat well. On the go. Our family is always on the go with our kids' extracurricular activities. On the go. He is always on the go with his job. On the go. She prefers being on the go to sitting around and doing nothing. Point. What's the point of giving her another second chance? She will only break your heart again. Point. It's pointless to go now. We will be an hour late. Point. There's no point in telling me twice. I learned my lesson. Resolve. He resolved to devote his entire life to finding a cure for cancer. Resolve. In order to become the best pianist, you should resolve to practice every day. Resolve. The warrior resolved to show no mercy to the enemy when he saw the destruction they had caused. Brand new. Have you seen my brand new bike? It's pink with yellow ribbons. Brand new. He drove around town, showing off his brand new sports car. Brand new. She enjoyed showing off her brand new baby to her friends and family.